what's going on? Welcome back to the Millennial Wave. I'm Rachel Kayleen, and this is episode 49. Today I have with me a local entrepreneur. His name is Akaash, and he goes by Akaash Aesthetics, and he's also known as the Optimized CEO. So thank you.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Episode 49. Yeah. I'm excited. So, okay, I want to know, because when I was obviously looking at your profile, you do go by the Optimized CEO. So can you tell me a little bit about how you kind of got that name?
Right. So, the Optimized CEO was founded by one of my clients, actually. He was like, dude, I just feel like because I was having an issue with my identity as a coach. Like, I'm not a fitness coach anymore. I'm not quite like a life coach. I really give people tactical, practical things that they can implement into their life to cause an immediate effect to live a better life. Like right now, you can do this, right? So he's like, dude, I feel like you just optimize people. You're like the Optimized CEO. And then right there, I was like, that has a good ring to it.
Yeah, it does.
We can brand that.
I love it.
Optimized CEO. There you go.
Good. So you used to do fitness coaching.
Yeah, that was where I started.
Okay. So how did this in aesthetics and gut health and the different things that you do, how'd you get into that? Right.
So that's a great question. So, I guess it actually all starts when I got out of high school and realized that, just college wasn't for me. I was like, the whole, model of college wasn't resonating with me. So I was like, okay, let me go ahead. At that point in my life, I thought I was going to go and be a professional fitness model and gain a supplement contract with a supplement company and be in the fitness industry. Because my main skill set was just bodybuilding, right? Not just bodybuilding, but I was really good at it. Yeah. That's all I had going for me. And I quickly realized that all the people that were very successful in the fitness industry all had businesses in the fitness industry. Like if you were just competing and trying to make a name for yourself that way, most bodybuilders, unfortunately, were not doing too well, weren't very successful, at least financially. And that wasn't for me. I always wanted to live comfortably. So I quickly realized that, okay, entrepreneurship is clearly what's going on here. So then from there, I was like, okay, how can I monetize my skill set, right? So enter fitness coaching, right? So I built my first fitness coaching business, scaled that to multiple six figures in a year.
When was
really
this?
Good. This was 2017,
Okay.
2017, yeah. So that was really good. So of course, it didn't just overnight happen. That was a lot of trials and tribulations, but, got it to multiple six figures, was doing really well. Then I kind of just lost a lot of, pizzazz, passion for what I was doing. It got really redundant. I'm a connoisseur of knowledge. Mm-hmm. Like I didn't know this about my identity was going through flux at that time. I was like, what am I doing? I made some money a little bit. Like I can go out to eat at restaurants and not really worry about what I'm ordering.
Were you not able to before?
Well, between rent, I like nice things. So I lived at a luxury apartment complex, I had nice, material items and whatnot. So my cost of living was, more than what a frugal person would have or whatnot. So from that regard, I was like, okay, I'm financially stable, but I'm not having fun with what I do anymore. There's more to it. I'm a connoisseur of knowledge. I love just mastering life, but I didn't know it at the time. So I'd be always reading. I'm a big book guy. I read 600 books.
Damn.
I love it. It's fun for me, right?
No, that's great. A lot of people, entrepreneurs love it. Yeah. Some. Yes.
Right. But so what happened was I tried to evolve my coaching practice because I was getting fired up when I would coach higher end, higher caliber people at a higher level, talking about psychology, neurology, really biohacking. That would light me on fire now, right? Fitness coaching was one dimensional for me as far as what I had to offer. So that is where, my evolution took place, and the whole optimizing CEOs and optimizing life and optimizing your entire being, right? With your lifestyle, everything about you, who you are, and just living your best life and teaching people how to do that. That's where that was birthed from. Yeah. Me actually losing my passion for fitness coaching and understanding that there was more.
Yeah. And I love how you talk about how obviously you had to deal with a lot of trials and tribulations when you were building your first fitness coaching business, and you grew it to six figures, correct?
Yeah.
And within what time period? Within the first year?
For about a solid 8 months, I could not crack $3,000-$4,000 a month for 8 months. That was stuck there. And then I actually invested in a business coach.
I was literally going to ask if you had a business coach within this process.
John Bowles.
Who?
John Bowles. He's a fucking beast. Now
here in Sacramento. Sorry,
he's in Scottsdale, Arizona. Okay. I love the guy. I always give him clout just because he was my first. He's a phenomenal guy, phenomenal coach, super successful guy. But I always give him clout and respect because he was the one that first believed in me. And when I reached out to him about coaching, just on his sales call, he's the first one that really picked apart my psychology and made me understand like what I actually am and what I could be. So I just give them always give them respect. Instagram at John Bowles. I spent like $24,000 on 24 weeks of coaching.
Yes.
On credit cards, on credit cards.
Wait, did you have to do it all at once, or did you do it week by week?
It was like, I remember it was like first I paid like $5,500, and then 6 weeks later another $5,500, and then for the next go around it was he broke it up into thirds for me for the next 12 weeks after that, and that was how I figured out.
I like how transparent you are about the cost.
Yeah,
that's good.
I tell people all the time. Because at the end of the day,
you have to invest into yourself.
Oh yeah, I've invested over $100,000 at least into my personal development.
I love it.
Thus far.
Yeah.
So that's how I was able to skip like time.
Okay. So you said you went on a phone call with him and he told you all the things that you were doing that maybe weren't working, or who you are and who you could be. So what were some of the things that you were doing that were causing you to stay so stagnant until you hit that 6-figure mark?
Thinking too small, understanding that it can be done, but that, one of the main things was that I was hiding behind a mask at that point. Like I didn't really have the goods.
You didn't have the goods.
I didn't really have it. I would just pretend, just flex on the gram back then.
Oh, really?
What I mean?
What do you mean, what goods?
Like I didn't actually, like, I'm like, hey, like, what's up? Like, you're preaching all this stuff, but what's your bank account really look like? Where do you live? What do you drive? Like, what are your assets? Like, what do you really know? Who's your clients? What results have you seriously produced? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't really have that, and my ego at that time. This is why I'm so vulnerable now and transparent, is because my ego is actually happy with what I've accomplished. Yeah. Like now I can stand tall in life and I can, talk about what I do. And I'm like, I can, I'm credible. I'm like, great. Back then I wasn't, right? Yeah. So I kind of felt like I wasn't cool.
Yeah.
Especially on Instagram, you're seeing all these entrepreneurs, private jets and stuff like that, fast cars, doing, having a high impact. It just, it can get to you sometimes. And you can try to, the whole fake it till you make it thing is, it's a slippery slope. It can mess with you in your head. And then that's what he really just made me understand. He's like, dude, like, no, you don't got it like that. You're just thinking you do. Like, even the way I was wearing a mask, right? Because I was really scared about who I really was. I hadn't healed myself, right? I was like, okay, dang, I don't really have a good functioning business, like something I can actually speak on, like a good business model with systems and processes. I don't really have that.
Yeah.
I don't have a actual system I put my clients through, right? I don't have a way to like actually generate leads. I don't have a system that does that. I don't have like a fulfillment process. I don't have any of these things, right? And he's like, that's what being an entrepreneur is. He's all like, that's why you're not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
And then he just pretty much like ripped me open and then like put me back together.
So over those 24 weeks, is that when you made the transition to biohacking?
No, so that was my fitness coaching business. So that was how I actually learned the fundamentals of business and monetized my skill set properly. Then I got successful. I remember like there was this week number 6, I made like $7,500 in a week or something with my business. And I was like, oh, wow, this is great.
And that's in total revenue, right? I'm just making
total revenue in that week.
Okay, cool.
In that 1 week, I think, that year I think I did like 200-something thousand.
That's amazing.
In gross sales or something. Well, coming from like $3,000-$4,000 a month, that was great.
Yeah, no, that's impressive. And it's within a short period of time too, which is what a lot of people want, but they don't always get because of certain things like ego or whatever the case may be.
I called all my credit cards, asked for extensions, got it done, paid it, went in debt even more. I think it was already like $12K in debt, went like to a total of $30K. And
Very
then,
nice.
And then before I even paid off all the debt, I hired him again with the money I made
for
another 12 weeks.
I
was like, I'm going to make sure no matter what. So I'm like, now I'm like, no matter what, I can make $250,000 no matter what.
Yeah.
Like I can, granted, as long as I don't have brain damage or anything, but yeah. So then the optimizing entrepreneurs, that came from me losing my passion in fitness coaching. That was because the service I was giving was very one-dimensional to what I had to offer. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. So that happened. I experienced a whole bunch of life, kind of let the business kind of go down. Like I was kind of like in flux in this in between limbo with this like, okay, am I doing fitness coach? Am I doing this life coaching? I have a couple life coaching clients. I'm now experimenting with like some business coaching, like teaching other people how to build a business and whatnot, because now I can work with other entrepreneurs. I was attracted to working with higher caliber clients.
Yeah.
And I was like, how can I do this? I was like, well, how do I work with like other entrepreneurs? Like, I have all this knowledge. Like every time I talk to them, like it seemed to always, make a really good impact and, help them out in optimizing their energy, optimizing their performance, optimizing their sleep, all these other variables. I was like, how can I do that? I was like, oh, I'll just become the number one coach for, optimizing entrepreneurs. So that's where the whole like biohacking thing came from. I was like, all right, well, how do I attain this skill set that I can monetize at a higher level?
Yeah. And okay, another thing that you mentioned is obviously you lost your passion for fitness coaching. So how do you keep that fire going with something like biohacking? And here's another thing, like there is a lot of things that go into it. You just mentioned sleep, gut health, diet, physical, mental, all that.
Yeah.
It all plays a part. But how do you keep that fire alive? So that way, I mean, is there any way to tell, or is there certain things that you do?
Right. Well, I mean, the fire came from you have to be in love with the game. I never lost love for the game. I never lost my fire for entrepreneurship, the game of life, really. Right. So that was the number one thing for me, like being happy isn't always my number one. Mood regulation. Like that's what I teach too. Always my thing is like, how happy am I? Like as cliche as it is, but like really, how happy am I? So go ahead.
Sorry. So regarding happiness, it's always like an up and down thing. Like there's some days when you're just like it's just one of those days, Like give me a tip on mood regulation?
As cliche as it is, not to be all Tony Robbins, but gratitude. Like my lady and I, we have gratitude arguments sometimes. Like who can literally who has the, who can do the most list out the most grateful things. And we fire back and forth, and we get really into it with a lot of passion. Understanding where you came from and what you have can always make you happy. Happiness is a choice, right? You can, it really is. You can choose to be happy, just so you can choose to be, sad or angry. We've all been in those situations where we're just on the treadmill, sitting at the desk or whatever, and we'll think about something that really makes us angry, like someone did something wrong to us, and we'll feel that anger right there on the treadmill, right, or whatever we're doing, and we'll also feel happy, right? If we think of something that makes us extremely enthusiastic, if something that I remember when I remember being a little kid and like seeing my dad come back from like a work trip for like I was not seeing your dad for like 2 weeks is a huge deal when you're young. I remember I saw him like coming down the escalator at the airport. I was like so happy, and when I think back to that, I'm like I get those same warm feelings. So you can choose these things, right? I'm back to your original question about how do you keep the fire going. You have to understand yourself. You have to be very self-aware. I knew that I had more to offer. I just didn't know what that more was. And then so I was in that pursuit, and that can be some aspects of regression that are involved in the progression of your life or what you're doing, right? Regression is essentially a part of progression if you really think about it, like because you're learning like what is not working, which is giving you insight as to you're moving the needle on, you're getting closer to what will work. Right, so I was playing around with the life coaching and playing around with the business coaching and hitting a brick wall with it, whether or not I was making money. But I knew that I was getting closer. Like I was kind of like dialing in that. I was dialing it in, like where I was getting closer to like what I actually liked by figuring out what elements are not resonating with me and what elements are. Does that make sense?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. And I love how you're very self-aware and you know yourself. And you're able to do that for other people, and you got right with yourself before you could go and help other people. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that are trying to help people, but they haven't even helped themselves.
Oh, yeah.
So I have a question for you. With all the clients that you've had, have you ever had somebody that is they're just not, you just tell yourself they're not going to make it? Like,
yeah,
they're not going to make it.
It happens all the time on my sales calls. Usually I turn those people down. Or usually what I am is I can smell it because I used to be that guy. And at that point, like I remember, I would not have actually, been able to move forward with certain, with certain coaching or certain material, etc. I literally, when I see that in another person, I literally call it out, and I get really ruthless with on the phone. Like I will. Because,
what do you look for?
In regards to when I see that person that clearly does not have the intangibles to be successful, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. When I see that type of person, like what I look for is, will they fight back? Like I pretty much at that point.
Do you want them to fight back?
Yeah, because then there's hope.
Okay.
Right? If they don't fight me back on it and be like, no, that's not me, I'll call out their entire identity. I'll pretty much make them like, I'm not going to call them a pussy, but I'll just like show them why they are. Right? I'm like, look at what you're doing. Look what you just told me you did. Like, and here's what you're trying to do, like, which is completely incongruent with what you just said you're doing. Like, what do you think me hearing this is going to think about you right now? I'm like, you think I have the highest opinion of you? No, absolutely not. And here you are calling me for help. Like, what are you going to do about this? Like, it's really harsh.
Yeah.
And I want to see if I can get them angry.
Yeah.
Because if I can get them angry, then we can use that emotion and channel it to fix what's going on. But if they're just like a zombie dead, just taking it, then they've accepted where they are, and that's where they are.
But what if they're like, no, I understand that I have a problem and I need to fix it, and I want your help.
That's productive then.
Okay.
Right? If that's productive, they're like seeking out, help and being genuine, you can tell a lot by the vibration of their voice. You can tell a lot. 97% of all communication is nonverbal. It's not what we're saying, it's how we're saying it. Like right now, right now we're on this call with me, like you're like pinging, like right now as you're listening to me, your subconscious mind is picking up like the actual inflections and of my voice, the vibration of my voice, of how I'm saying what I am doing, which is communicating something on a physical level of whether or not how you feel about what I'm saying, not like the words I'm actually saying. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the same thing with the other person, that's what I can look for. It's not really what they're saying, it's how they're saying it. Right? That tells a lot about how they are, like where they're actually
like
at.
Like their tone of voice?
Yeah, the tonality, it goes really deep. The vibration of the voice, the harmonics of the voice.
Wow, you're so like, you know so much. I love it. There's so much that goes into it.
600 books later. A lot of personal development and a lot of implementation of the whole stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, it shows, when someone has read that much, when someone has learned that much, when someone has consumed that much, it shows in the way that you speak, in the way that you act, in the way that you carry yourself.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. So I also want to know who's like, you've listened to so much and read so many books. Who's like your main inspiration?
I don't really have too many main inspirations right now. I don't voice that because at now the level I'm at, I'm rubbing shoulders with people that I've always dreamt of rubbing shoulders with. And now we're just like, in my peer group, like we talk. So at that point, I don't actually, my inspirations are probably people that are dead, Nikola Tesla, I'm very inspired by him. Albert Einstein, Leonardo da Vinci, like these big thinkers. Well, Socrates, like I really like read all the, Marcus Aurelius. He was one of the first Roman emperors, one of the great thinkers. I study these guys, right? Because they've been preaching these same philosophies that have stood true since the dawn of time. The game hasn't changed, only the players, right? Yeah. So today is inspiration. Oh, you know what? I will say this. I appreciate Brendan Machard. Because
really?
I do like him. He's such a goofball, but I love him because, he coaches billionaires, and that's what I want to do. So I will say that. I'll give him credit. But other than that, I don't have too many inspirations anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm really just kind of doing my own thing now at this point, and I just my own GPS is my own heart. Like Love that's it. Where I kind of look.
And you're leading people.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think is one of the hardest parts about being a leader?
Oh, God.
What is one of the hardest things that you've had to overcome to be a good leader and lead people to their own?
Yeah, being a leader is
potential.
crazy. I'm still, I'm always evolving, but I was a really bad leader initially. Like, I didn't understand what being a leader actually meant. Like, you have to be okay with pretty much convincing other people to do the best thing that is for them, and just taking on that burden and understanding that without you, like, people are always people always secretly want to be led. They just really do. They really do. Very few people really want to be a leader. Very few people want to go to sleep at night knowing everything's on you. Like, it's crazy. A lot of people think they want to be a leader, but it's just the amount of pressure. It's ridiculous. And understanding that, like, someone's got to do it. Someone's got to do it. Is that you? And if that is, like, you have to understand what that entails. Like, you are going to take full responsibility for everything.
And that doesn't just mean like you and your mind, like liable.
Fully
you are liable
in the company, with other clients and stuff like that. Like if someone like falls short with communication with the client or something like that, and doesn't perform or doesn't fulfill on a service, like that's directly your fault. You have to make the call. You have to apologize. You have to talk to your employee. Either get them on track, or if this has been happening consistently, have that hard conversation. And it just goes so deep. You literally just have to be a martyr in a sense. You have to literally just be willing to sacrifice yourself and everything you have for the good of your team. And a leader isn't like, okay, I'm going to lead you guys. The leader is everyone else that's willingly elects you as the leader, because they're all aware that you will die for them, figuratively and maybe actually for real.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so I also want to know, obviously, you're coaching right now. Is that the only thing that you're doing?
So I have a high-end consulting agency. So, I work with 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs and optimizing their life and their being and whatnot. So that is my passion. But I'm a business person first and foremost. That's what makes my heart happy is coaching. But I love the game of business. So I also have a supplement company Modern lifestyle supplements. Our supplements are all designed around optimizing life. We have a digestive aid, optimizing your digestion. We have an aura or hormone balance, keeping your cortisols low. If you're stressed out, your body's not going to be able to do anything productive. We have a catalyst, a thermogenic, to keep your metabolism as fast as possible. A lot of my clients, I preach a lot of fasting and whatnot for performance. It works in conjunction with that. We have a sleep aid with melatonin, trimethophamine, CBD. We have casein protein in our sleep aid to make sure you don't go catabolic at night. So these are the type of supplements that we carry and that we're going to develop. We even we're getting really deep into the science of it, like how to optimize even a refractory period post ejaculation for men. Like you know what I mean? Like serious. Like it's getting serious. Like you know what I mean? The whole Muhammad Ali, like he wouldn't sleep with his wife for some a month or two or before a fight. It's crazy because as men, it takes 40 units of blood to make 1 unit of semen. So if you just think about this, the amount of minerals and trace minerals and nutrients that go into semen production, at post-ejaculation, it's not like you're not going to have sex with your lady.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? So, it happens. I talk to my guys all the time. I'm yep, after, we just had a morning session and I just laid in bed for another hour and got to the office late, and now I'm stuck on work and, educating on supplementing and also educating men on the nutrients that can help your body recover from that. Because as men, that's our life force. Yeah. It's real energy. So if we don't have it, we move slower legitimately. We really do. Yeah. Other people don't maybe, if you just pay attention, if you're aware about it, you really do. So we're coming out with supplements like that. That's
very interesting.
It's all around optimizing your life, right? Yeah. So, yeah, just to give you a little insight as to that's the angle we're taking. This is not a supplement fitness supplement company. This is all a personal development, health and wellness type of company.
Love it. And then tell these people where they can find you.
Instagram, Akaash Aesthetics.
Okay.
Instagram, Akaash Aesthetics. That's it.
Okay. Akaash is spelled with 2 A's.
AKAASH Aesthetics.
Okay.
And I just bought my first house to invest in last week, so I do real estate investing on the side now. Yay!
Okay, wait. So it's not your you're not gonna live in it. You're gonna
I live here downtown.
Okay.
So that we bought it for $486,500. We're gonna put $80K into it, and then hopefully we exit at $680.
Very
in about
nice.
3 weeks.
Congrats.
3 months. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So a lot going on, but again, it would have never started unless I invested in myself.
Exactly. And then that brings me to my very last question. Obviously, you're doing so much. You have clients, you have customers, you have coaching that you offer. Mm-hmm. So if anyone wants to be a part of what you're doing, but in a way, like how we were talking about before, in a way where they could learn from you, anything. I mean, if it's only from your Instagram videos, is there anything deeper than that?
Yeah. Just shoot me a DM. I'm always super active on my Instagram. Even if people just want opportunities or have a skill set that they want to offer, we can work something out or see if you want to. You'd be surprised just reaching out to people how far you can get on Instagram.
Agreed.
The Gary Vee says that all the time. Just goes down in the DM, right? So just DM me anytime, even if you're just having help or just need some help or just want to talk. Just shoot me a DM. We've all been there. No problem.
It. Yep. Cool. Awesome. Thank you for being on the show.
I loved it.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning into that podcast episode. Make sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell so you never miss another video with us again. Join the conversation below as well by hitting that comment section and telling us what you liked most. And see you next time. I'm out.